Greetings. This is the fifth video in this short series on research methods in psychology. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about correlation. Correlation is when there is a relationship between variables. Remember, a variable is a thing. So there's a relationship between two or more variables in the way that the kind of relationship is that when one changes, the other changes. So for example, if one increases, the other increases. If one decreases, the other decreases. So yeah, let's look at some more pieces about that. Okay, so let's say, I'm going to go back to this slide for a second. Let's say that the more you study, so as the rate of your studying increases, the rate of your fatigue increases. I don't know. Those two might be related to one another, or they might be correlated. As one goes up, the other goes up. There is probably a correlation between exercising, let's say, and the more you exercise, maybe the more energy you might have. Your energy might increase as you exercise. You may, sometimes they go in different directions. So let's say as you work more, so your working goes up, your grades go down, right? So you get the idea. So the variables are related to one another. As one changes, the other changes. But what we have to remember is, and this is really important, is that correlation is not causation. So you can look at this silly little cartoon here. Everybody who went to the moon has eaten chicken. Good grief, chicken makes you go to the moon. So clearly that's very corny. But you get the idea here. Which one came first? So back to this other slide, do you think all these film crews brought on global warming, or did global warming bring on all these film crews? That's actually a good question. Maybe all those film crews, were coming, well, the global warming isn't caused by the film crews, obviously. But I'll give you some better examples. Let's say, okay, so you may have heard this one. Supposedly sitting in the front of the classroom, which of course while we're online doesn't matter, but sitting in the front of the classroom is correlated with better grades. So students who sit in the front of the classroom, the more often, or the closer they sit to the front, the better their grades. Okay, so does that mean that sitting in the front of the classroom causes better grades? Possibly. It could also mean better students choose to sit in the front. And we won't know unless we conduct an experiment. Remember, the experiment's purpose is to reveal cause and effect. We're trying to figure out cause and effect. With correlation, we don't have cause and effect. We just have two things that are related. Maybe good students sit in the front. Maybe people who sit in the front can focus better. Maybe bad students sit in the back. And we won't know unless we conduct an experiment where we have the exact same class and we take similar students and put them in the front, and then we take the same students and put them in the back, and we measure the differences, right? We have to do an experiment like that. Otherwise, all we have is a relationship between two variables, and we don't know which one came first. There are other problems with jumping to conclusions with correlation. So sometimes we have hidden or confounding variables. So if I tell you, and this is a true one, Couples who living together before getting married is correlated with divorce. Couples who live together before they get married, as that increases, so does divorce in that group. And couples who don't live together before getting married, that's correlated with a lower rate of divorce. Okay, so let's jump to living together before marriage makes you get divorced. And then people jump to all these reasons why living together before getting married, well, you get tired of one another, it doesn't seem that special anymore, all kinds of things. Actually, what happens here is there is a third variable. There's another variable that's not mentioned. It's a hidden or a confounding variable, and that is conservatism or religiosity. And I don't mean conservatism in a political sense. I mean people who tend to be more traditional or religious. They're the same people. Those people both object to living together before marriage and to getting divorced. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean that their marriages are better. It just means that they don't live together, and they tend to not live together, and they tend to not get divorced. So that was a hidden or a confounding variable. I'll give you another example about that because I think it's important, especially as we read research and we try and distinguish fake news from real news and fake research from real research and jumping to conclusions based on data. So what if I told you that people who ate, eating Frosted Flakes as children is correlated with a lower rate of cancer than eating oatmeal as children. So eating oatmeal as children, cancer increases. Eating cornflakes as children, cancer decreases. Cancer in adulthood. So people start wondering, maybe Frosted Flakes are healthy. Maybe there's something hidden in oatmeal that's bad for you. Both are possible, right? We don't know because we're not doing an experiment. What if I told you that the oatmeal was microwaved in plastic containers? Then you might think, oh, wow, well, microwaving in plastic containers could cause cancer. It could, maybe. That would be a third variable. I made all that one up. So I don't know anything about Frosted Flakes or oatmeal. That was entirely made up. But we have these biases, right? We believe that oatmeal is good for us, so it must be better, right? And yet, if I told you that obesity in children is correlated with TV watching, so the more children watch TV, the more obese they are, then people are, oh yeah, of course, watching TV makes you fat. What if children who are overweight have less energy to, run about or do other things? What if children who are overweight are more reluctant to participate in sports because they don't want to wear shorts or whatever? So I hope you get the idea here about correlation, that it doesn't establish causation, but it does give us great questions to pursue further research. So once we know that two things are correlated, then we go, oh, wow, that's really interesting. Let's set up an experiment, right? Let's set up an experiment to see if, I don't know, if weight really is correlated with watching, if watching TV really does cause children to gain weight. And then we'd have two groups. We'd have one group watch TV more than the other group. We'd measure their weight, all that. We'd do the experiment. Okay? So the correlation gave us a great idea for research. And yeah. Okay. I'm going to end this video here.